Alright guys, so today I woke up and I had the bright idea to go to the mall and purchase some clothes. And for the first time in a very long time, I spent over $200 on things. And I know it's very fucking stupid for me to say this shit, but this shirt here was $40. And before I started doing ecom, $40 for a shirt was just fucking ridiculous to me, and like I would never, ever buy anything for $40 because I was a very cheap person. And I also got this jacket, which was $140, and it's just kind of small things like that, which makes all this shit so much more worth it. Is that you can, if you want to, you can go and spend a little bit of money on something that you think you deserve a little bit, which is crazy because genuinely I never thought that I would spend that much money on clothes. I know it's stupid, but it's just something that I wanted to kind of tell you guys before we get into this video, is that you don't have to make crazy amounts of money with this shit, but if it allows you to make yourself happy a little bit every now and then I definitely think it's something that you should start doing, and definitely get into, because seeing this amount of money here on the dashboard is something that is that would have been a dream to me a couple of years ago, and even just a couple of weeks ago. It was hard. It was difficult for me to really grasp how these kids were making this much money, and not just off ecom, but like clipping and starting their own personal brands and having agencies and affiliate marketing and all this kind of shit. And I just tried so many times to make money online. And yeah, I was making maybe a few thousand every now and then. I used to sell beats online as well, and I made probably like $17,000 total doing that. I did a little bit of Etsy drop shipping, but I never saw this amount of motion ever in my life, which is it's pretty crazy. And I haven't really told many people. I've told probably my closest friends, obviously my roommate who is doing this shit with me, but I haven't told my mom, I haven't told my dad, I really haven't told almost anybody, besides maybe like a couple people, my closest friends. And the fact that this is only just the start, let me actually refresh this for y'all again. I refresh it every single video, but I just want to show you guys this right here is actually not 30 days. This is from the 1st of June, so the 1st of this month, all the way to today. So in 17 days, it's $43,000, which is absolutely fucking insane. When the month ends, I am estimating realistically that it's gonna make between $80,000 to $100,000 if I continue scaling. Right now I'm spending about $1,000 on ads every single day, and my ROAS is between 3.8 to 4.5. So realistically I'm making between $3.8 thousand to 4.5 every single day right now, while spending that $1,000, right? And just kind of wanted to inform you guys on what's going on here. But it's crazy how fast things can scale, especially in ecom and with ads. If you kind of spend the money right and are trusted by Facebook, and you get into their customer support and ask for help and all this kind of shit, then it'll be a lot easier for you to actually be able to spend that much money. And it's actually kind of interesting because there's something on my account which is like an account spending limit, and it's not allowing me to spend realistically more than $1,000 a day. Even though my daily limit is $3,000, right? I can spend $3,000, but there's an account threshold, and for some reason it's not letting me put in more money into my funds, more than $1,000 at a time, pretty much. So even though it says that I can spend $3,000, I'm only allowed to spend $1,000. So that's a whole different issue, and I know that if I were able to spend more than what I can right now, I know that this would go absolutely through the fucking roof right now, which is crazy. So that is something that's limiting me right now, even though I am making $4,000 a day. Let me show you guys. So this is in one day right here, $3.9 thousand, which is fucking crazy, because literally 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago, I was very excited to tell you guys that it was my first $1,000 day, and now we're at $4,000 every single day, which is fucking absolutely insane. And I just wanted to answer a couple questions for y'all, because I know that some of you guys have been wondering the more logistical things about this business. I've done a lot of like mindset videos on how I got here and why you need to start and all that kind of shit. The last video that I did, I kind of showed you guys my Meta ad dashboard. I won't be showing you guys that today, but I am going to show you guys a little bit of some product research and how I myself found this product. So there's a couple of different ways to find products. I would say that there's a couple of ways that are paid and there are ways that are free. And listen, guys, if you don't have a little bit of capital to start ecom, then it's something that I would consider, getting a hold of, is a little bit of money to spend on certain things that might not return an investment in the first month or 2 or 3, right? So go out and get a job and fund your ecom in any way that you can, because I promise you, all it takes is one product, one ad, and then you can, see results kind of like this. So there's a little thing called Data, and again, guys, be resourceful. Use anything you can. I'm literally using my friend's account on Data. We are splitting the money on this account. So it's there are ways for you to do things without spending that much money. So we're splitting the Data information here. It's about $100 a month here, and on Data it can kind of show you a bunch of different ecom brands and creators and stuff like that. And you kind of want to skip over all these first couple of brands, because getting into this niche, or these niches, are going to be pretty difficult because of how saturated, how many angles have been ran on it. And these companies are running millions and millions of dollars of ads, and returning back a lot of money. So it's going to be pretty hard to compete against these guys unless you have a lot of volume or a lot of different ads that you can test. But pretty much you want to go on here, and you can kind of go through these categories as well. And I would kind of just look through some things, find niches that are niches that could win. And the way to find niches that are in the market, right, is to, first of all, just have some common sense. Don't sell anything that is a product specifically for winter when summer's coming up, right? If you're selling clothes, don't sell anything that's too warm right now, because obviously it's summer. So you kind of want to take things into consideration, and there are ways to really figure this shit out. For example, Google Trends. You can go to Amazon, and for example, let's say that you are selling something within the let's just look through some products here real quick, and we'll do some live product research. You want to sell things that really dig into people's pain points, insecurities, desires, things like that, right? So for example, fitness, health, beauty, right? Things like that. People's pets. People are very passionate about their pets. So all these niches, it's kind of very common sense, right? You don't want to sell something something retarded, right? So if you kind of just scroll through Data, so you see all these brands right here. Revenue 600,000 in the last month, 600,000 and 590,000. Look at this tanning pool. Look, it's fucking insane. Even things like this, right? Something that at the time during summer is going to sell, you have a high chance of getting up there. And so what you can do is you can kind of click on the product and see how much revenue it's making in the last 30 days. And you can kind of see the graph here as well. And if you scroll down, you can also see all of the creators and the ads or videos that are making them all the revenue, right? So for example, let's say this one right here. So this is a product that is obviously only going to be sold during summer. So somebody took advantage of the fact that it's summer, and people, when it's summer and it's hot, they want to go out and tan and be in the water and shit like that. So I don't really know the angle here, but you can kind of make some guesses on what these ads are going to do. So let's watch it.
One thing I wish I would have seen before I ordered the sluice pool is somebody actually laying in at my size. I'm 5'9", 240 pounds, and just a wide, big body, and the large is cool and all, but whenever I lay all the way down, my feet are not even in the pool.
So already you guys can tell that the angle is focused a lot more on larger people, right? Bigger people, and the fact that they are able to sit on that with all their weight. And so obviously that is an angle that is clearly working for them. That is the highest revenue generating video on Cali Data. So you can kind of you can really just, if you just watch the video, you can see what the angle is, right? What's working for them. Let's watch another one here.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Okay, time's up.
So there's another one. This one again is a different angle. And here's the thing, guys, when it comes to a product, when it comes to testing ads on a product, you don't want to just test one angle, right? You want to have a different set of ads so that you can test multiple different angles under multiple different audiences. And pretty much what you are doing is you are scrapping the ones that are not working, right? Whether because it's too saturated and other people are doing it as well, or it's just not an angle that is working. But you want to kind of, test all these different angles and really hone in on the ones that are working. So that is a different angle than the first video that we watched, because we can see that one is mainly just, that's a lady with not as big of a body as the first one, right? She's obviously looking a lot leaner, a lot better. So that angle is more for like younger women that are looking good and want to tan. So you kind of want to see all these things and download all these videos, and pretty much what you want to do is steal them and test them, and then make variations of the tests and just continue making variations of things that are working. And based on the metrics that I gave you guys in the last video, you can figure out which ads are converting well and which are not, right? It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. So this is something, to be honest, I don't know if I would recommend testing this product now, but what we can do is see if we can validate this product based on all the information that I use to validate our products, right? So let's say that we found this product and we think it's a winner, okay? So it's an inflatable tanning pool, and now what we want to do is go to Google Trends, and we look up, this shit. So you want to do like past 12 months, see where it's peaking, and we can see here that it's starting to peak again. Obviously during June, July, and August, this term is going to peak, right? So you can kind of take advantage of the fact that, right now it's kind of going back downhill, but it is going to go back up, right? If you can kind of see from the trend here, that it might go back up as well. But obviously, guys, you don't want to sell a product like this during these times. Why? Because obviously it's not in demand, right? You want to sell things that are in demand, that people are purchasing, looking for right now at the current moment. So the inflatable pool, right? We can see that it is trending again. Now let's look up, for example, tanning pool or something like that, and look at that. So tanning pool, boom, it's going up. We can see that people are looking this up, right? Tanning, even just a term like tanning, right? Obviously it's a pretty popular term, but it does get bigger in June, July, and August, right? And May, April, all that kind of shit, right? So these are peak times when you can sell certain things. And obviously, ideally, you want to sell a product that is evergreen, meaning that you can sell it across the entire year. And here's kind of the interesting part, is that you can have a product that is evergreen, but your angles can be trend based. They can be season based. You can change the angle of the product based on where you are in time, right? In the year. And that's kind of the beauty of an ad, is that it can be the exact same product, but you can change the angle of how that product works and kind of run separate things with different audiences and get different customers to purchase your things, right? So that's one of the ways that you can check that. And then after I validate that it's kind of trending on Google Trends, that a lot of people are looking this up on Google, and also validating it on Cali Data, making sure that it's generating at least $100,000 to $200,000 a month in revenue. We can see that one made $600,000. And now another way that you can validate it and cross-reference this information is simply go to Amazon, where most people purchase things online, right? Is Amazon, and we look up the exact same thing. A tanning pool. So, guys, look at this shit, right? The exact same one right here for $50. And in the past month, there have been 1,000 people that bought it. Now, this would be a good sign for a product, right? You are in that peak time. 1,000 people purchased it on Amazon, just that one listing, right? You can see all these other ones, 10,000, 100, 600. That one has 10,000. That's fucking ridiculous. So you do that, you go to Google Trends, make sure that's good. Calidata, it's obviously making a lot of money on there. It's obviously making a lot of money on Amazon. So you validated the product 3 times, cross-referenced it. Now, obviously you want to make sure that you can find this product for a decent price. My way of thinking is you want enough profit margins for you to make a good amount of money from the cost of the good as well as the added cost of the ads, right? If, for example, you are selling a product for $40 and it costed you $20 to source it, but your ads, start playing into your profits, you're not making as much money. As opposed to, for example, let's say you buy a product for $20 and you can sell it for $80. And all of this can be attributed to the perceived value of the product. You want to make sure that the value of the product seems like it could cost a higher amount of money. Now, with this inflatable pool thing, to be honest, that's where the catch is, right? We found that we can cross-reference the product and we can see that it's making a lot of money. But we don't know how much we're sourcing it for, and we're going to find a way to, we can find a way to look at that, and we'll do that in a little bit. But realistically speaking, how much can you sell an inflatable pool for, right? Probably not much more than 50, 60, 70. You know what I mean? Like, you want to sell these things that seem like it's high quality because it's a higher perceived value, and you can increase your average order value and get more money per ad spent, right? So let's see. We go back to Calidata and we can search the goods on AliExpress. So this is just a, let me see. So if it doesn't work from Calidata, which for some reason it doesn't, I don't know why, but you can kind of just right click it, search goods on AliExpress, which is a Google Chrome extension that you can just look shit up on AliExpress and see how much they're selling it for. So here's an issue, right? They're selling this for, well, look at this one, $6, okay? But the one that is selling a lot on AliExpress, they are selling it for quite a bit of money. So now at that point, you probably realistically, if you have a good supplier, you could probably get this for 25, 30, 20 maybe. But we can see here that sourcing it is going to be difficult because the perceived value of this product, right, is never going to be higher than $70. And if you're sourcing this for $50, $40, unfortunately, with the cost of the ads and all of the transaction fees and etc., you're not going to make any money. You're probably going to make like 3% profit margin, which is fucking ridiculous, right? You want to make at least 3 times the amount of how much you're getting the product for. At least. For example, for me, I am sourcing my products between $18 all the way up to $35 depending on the variant. And because of this, right, my products are marked up all the way from $45 to $100. So this means, obviously, that on average, it's going to be 3 times the amount that I'm spending. Which, and then you're spending on the ads. So you need to find something that is a higher perceived value product. And if you can't find a way to do that, then you might have to move on to a different product. At first it seemed like it was okay, but now, you're not getting it for too much. Now you could sell different variants like this one, but how much are you realistically going to sell this for, right? You could do that tanning angle on this little shitty thing, but come on guys, you can find shit like this at the dollar store for like $5. Unfortunately not $1 anymore because not everything at the dollar store is $1 anymore. I don't know fucking why. Inflation, I guess. But look, this one's $11, $6. Realistically you could sell that for 25, 30, 20. But it's like, at that point, it's not really worth it because, I would rather sell a product that is costing me $30, $20 and sell it at 90 or 80 or 100. Maybe I'm getting less people to, spend with me, but the amount of people that are spending with me, makes up for the fact that not as many people are spending. And you know, my cost per ad can be higher because of the higher perceived value of the product. I'm making a lot more money per purchase. So again, this was just some product research, just really quickly for you guys, but this is kind of the way that I go about it. And you know, I'm not going to get too deep into it right now, but I think in the future what I am going to do is do like a 1 hour, 2 hour live product research with you guys and really find something that could win. And then, you know, just if you guys want to use it, you definitely can. But this is kind of the way that I do it, the paid way. Now the free way would be obviously if you guys have a burner account, if you guys have been into organic drop shipping at all, if you guys know anything about that, you know about the burner. But you can also make burners for ecom, right? For branded drop shipping and for Facebook ad drop shipping is you literally just start a new account on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and you scroll and scroll and scroll, and you only like and interact with ads, right? With ads that are obviously branded drop shipping or ecom or things like that. And we're not gonna interact with like organic shit, right? I mean, we can, because there are ways to turn organic content into branded content and then, you know, run up a product like that. And I know a couple people that have done that. But we want to try to find things that are, you know, already winning, right? Not concepts that are new, not concepts that are, you know, going viral just for the wrong reasons. You know, a lot of times organic dropshipping, they go viral because of a controversy, and you know that doesn't really do anything for their sales. So we want to kind of make a burner account with filled with branded dropshipping ads, and just kind of scroll and scroll and scroll and you know, check out the comments, see what they're saying about it, and you can check out their website, and then you can, you know, obviously go back to Cali data, cross-reference it, go to Amazon, you know, Google Trends, and kind of cross-reference it as well. So there are free ways to do this. Obviously, this one costs about $100 a month, but I highly recommend that you get Cali data as, you know, a $100 investment. $50 for me, $50 for the other guy who's splitting it with me. You know, turned into, in total, let's see, well, today's $4,000, so already made profit, right, from that. In total, it's been $51,000 in pretty much 1 month. So guys, come on, a $100 investment for $51,000. Come on, guys. I know that you don't want to stay broke, but come on, you can spend $100 a month on something that will generate you $50,000 and even potentially even a lot more. So that is kind of the way that I do things, and how I'm going to continue doing product research as well. And guys, if it's working, then, you know, why find a different way? I know that for me, it's working. I don't know necessarily if it's the best way to do it, but I know that for me, it's definitely working. So I know that for someone else, it could work as well. And again, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram at jcography. I will try to answer as many questions as possible to help you guys out. But yeah, that's it.